You are listening to Inspiration and Information with Jen Julius. I want to introduce Vicchi Oleski, founder of SoCoHA. She is here with me today. Vicchi, say hi.
Hey, good morning, Jen.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited. I can't believe it took us this long to do this.
I know.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking.
That's okay. We're here now.
We are. Yeah. And our topic today is pretty exciting. Practical WooWoo 101, solutions to feel, heal your health, and live your vitality. And we're going to have a lot of really good info. And also, you're going to be presenting a 5-point practice that people can utilize today, right?
Today, we're going to do a little visualization.
Perfect.
At the end of the program.
We'll say ahead of time, if you're listening to this while you're driving, don't get too into the visualization. But if you're safe at home on a couch, that's perfect.
It's like pullover moment.
Yeah, exactly. So, Vicchi, would you mind introducing yourself and just letting people know a little bit about you, history, what got you into this field, why you decided to be the founder of SoCoHA, which I love that name, by the way, Sonoma County Healing Academy. SoCoHA.
Ha. Yeah. Well, I've been in the county since 86, and I moved to California in 82. So I've been here for quite a while. Mostly what drove me to this place, which is going to continue for quite a while with SoCoHA, is that about 12 years ago, I had a healing crisis. Actually transformed my ability to really take control of my life and my health. And it was pretty profound. I had chronic fatigue, that I was unaware of. I basically was thinking that this was my life, and that I was this is just how you live, with fatigue and stress and anxiety. So that was like a real turning point for me when I realized back in, I think it was my early 40s, that I had discovered that the direction I was going was only going to increase. Mm-hmm. And that is a point. It's a point of embodied spirit work, is that wherever your energy is going, wherever your thoughts go, that's where you're headed. It's an NLP practice, Neuro-Linguistic practice. It's quantum physics, and it's also what I call practical WooWoo.
Perfect.
It's like really bringing the essence and the common sense back to daily living. So when I had that discovery, was so profound. I was seeing a psychiatrist back in Philadelphia, and I wasn't actually seeing them. I was on the phone when I had a consultation, and they had prescribed some antidepressants for me. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, okay, I moved back to Philadelphia to be with my family in 2000 with my partner at the time. Had this amazing house, home in my house, the old style, Philly style. Wow. Work and live was they're just their mainstay back there. And when I got prescribed when I got told that, I was able to get on antidepressants, I came down and told my partner, I'm going to do this. And she kind of looked at me and she said, Vicchi, I knew you when you were an antidepressant. Mm-hmm. And I fell apart. I actually broke open. And that was another turning point for me. Because at that time I went into seeing a lot of doctors and a lot of traditional practices to kind of figure out what was really going on with me. And deep down inside, when I really looked within, and that moment again had me physically, a felt sensation that I had to take charge and control of my life, my health, my direction that I was going. And I'd already knew this back in grade school. In 5th grade, I was asked to repattern children, toddlers that were not walking and crawling. And so our church community, we've got a fly buzzing around here.
Yeah, there's a fly flyer, and we're both like waving our hands like,
So our church community, I was invited to repattern children, toddlers. So in 5th grade, I began being a body worker.
In 5th grade? You were in 5th grade?
I was in 5th grade, and I was practicing repatterning toddlers.
Can you explain what you mean by repatterning?
Well, they were 2, 3, 4-year-olds that were not crawling yet.
Oh, wow.
And they were not walking yet. So there were 4 of us, and I was in 5th grade, and I was, very energetic child, who understood so much about life that you just had to move your body to have things change. I knew that. And then and I practiced it because that just was my life. I was very, very supported in my relationship when I was a child. So repatterning was having the child be on a table waist high with melodic or some type of soft rhythmic music going. And we would move the child's hands and arms and feet in a crawling method. And we would all follow a rhythm to have the child begin to learn through their body and their minds and their brains and their field. And the field being that all of us really understood that at one time, at a choice, this child would begin to crawl again and to walk. Not again, but in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So that was in 5th grade. And then, that was just kind of the beginning of how I got to be a body worker, and then life coach in, I think, 2004 at the NLP Institute of California with Chris Hallbaum and Tim Hallbaum. They're my teachers.
Great.
Yeah.
And now,
oh, thank you, present time. Now we're in Sebastopol at the Gravenstein Station.
Such a neat location.
Oh, it's perfect. It's like the gateway of West County.
Yeah.
So we have SoCoHA. We have 2 large studios. I have my private practice from that, and I call that embodiedSpiritwork. I'd like to talk a little bit more about that, just private work. We have 11 practitioners there, a 900 square foot large studio that has just go through the list of what we have going on there. If we have equine HANA somatics. So what that basically means is we have a practitioner there, Alyssa Mayer, who works with horses and their riders. Now she works with the horses in doing HANA somatics on the field at Windhorse. And then also at the studio at SoCoHA, she works with their riders.
Wow.
Doing somatic work.
Interesting.
Yeah. We have her. We have Inner Weavings, which is psychotherapy, but instead of working through the mind and talk therapy, you actually process through weaving through a loom, a Japanese loom. Very, very powerful. We also have Chai on Saturday, and they are a group of healers, practitioners, artists, much like the whole SoCoHA, but on Saturday they have clinics and salons. They have talks throughout the month. There's 3 main people, Angel Stork, Corey Shamali, and Carol Hannum is at their core group. And then we have TRE, and that's trauma release exercises.
Is that Christy?
Christy Dodaden. We have a shamanic practitioner, that's Corey. I'm going to go through the little list here, the long list. Alea, who does smooth sculpt, and that's working with the face and the upper body. And that's mostly, it's like a non-surgical facelift, and it works with your lymph system. So it physically changes your physical appearance, enriches the collagen levels to the body and the skin.
Interesting.
And then she's also a craniosacral therapist.
Oh, okay.
So she also combines that into her session. We have Qigong. We're also affiliate with Peace and Medicine. So we have a low-cost clinic, 10 hours a week, that goes from Qigong, EMF, inflammation, Lyme's disease, low-cost acupuncture clinic on Fridays. We have spirit medicine, which is not quite Bach flower, but essence of flower essences. Mm-hmm. Let me see what else we have here. We have myself. That's embodied spirit work, energy medicine, art, coaching, and beyond surgery support.
Wow. So what's the website so people can look up information?
It's www.socoha.com.
Perfect. So now you do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of transformation. And so we wanted to talk about Practical WooWoo 101, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Practical WooWoo. That term came to me and it's kind of been getting developed a little bit. What it means is through my practice, I get called a lot of things, and asked a lot of things. What was that? What do you do? The new agey term woo-woo. Mm-hmm. I'm demystifying that.
Perfect.
Let's bring it real time.
Yes.
And so that's how it became Practical WooWoo 101. We're at a place right now, Jen, and many people are bridging the woo-woo quantum physics to the common sense everyday living. We've got many, many people who have been doing it. Deepak Chopra, Carolyn Meese, Candace Pert, all of them. And here we are in little town Occidental, mm-hmm. talking about this today. Mm-hmm. So it's very exciting. Practical WooWoo is bringing the new age to the now age. So we're just changing that E to an O and bringing it to the now. Practical WooWoo is just about coming back to our common senses, mm-hmm. which include intuition.
Yeah.
Which include feeling in our bodies, which is an unseen field, but a felt field that we all understand. It's a language. And so Practical WooWoo is like the words. It's a language. It's for me, it's becoming a consciousness. It's unexplainable, but very felt. Mm-hmm. It's something that can feel intangible, but we're practicing it. We're making it real in this lifetime, in this moment. It's spirit medicine. It's embodied spirit work. It's right now being in the radio show, and here we are live broadcasting and also transmitting energy and information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Information and inspiration.
Yeah.
That's what I'm all about.
That's right. And education, healing, whole.
Yeah, you and I definitely have the same foundational beliefs, I think, as far as what our passions are in this field.
Yeah.
So when you talk about solutions to feel, heal your health, and live your vitality, can you talk a little bit about what you mean by that, especially the feel, heal component?
I would love to.
Be great.
When I began embodied spirit work about 7 years ago, those words came to me when I was looking within during a walk. You know how you get into a very meditative state when you're walking. Mm-hmm. I was walking in a trail from Grayton to Forestville and realizing I was seeing a center, a holistic center, which is SoCoHA now, and that's evolved. It used to be Radiant Being Beauty and Health. Yeah. And then we repurposed it and renamed it, and recycled. How now is that?
Yeah.
And so I was on this walk and seeing this picture of, and that's what we call imaginal cells, something in the future that you're bringing forth and walking towards.
What is that called?
Imaginal cells. It's something that we all have. It's our future. And
it has obviously a very strong intuitive component.
Yeah.
Imaginal cells, I hadn't thought of them that way. Would that be similar to when people have visions of ideas that just come out of nowhere, visions about where their life is heading or should be heading or things like that?
Exactly.
Wow.
It's something that we are encouraged within to do. Mm-hmm. So on this walk, I'm seeing this, and all of a sudden I hear embodied spirit work. So I go, oh, I guess that's what I've been developing all these years.
Wow.
So I TM'd embodied spirit work, and what that basically means is that we are fully responsible through the help of our friends, our family, our community. We're fully responsible for our health and well-being. And that in that moment traced me back to when I was being told that I could get on antidepressants, and my partner at the time said, "That's when I knew you were an antidepressant," and it broke me right open to realize at that moment I had to take responsibility for my happiness.
Yeah,
that I truly need to just step into being happy, and then everything else would come up into my path that I needed to change.
Right.
So when I started this practice, embodied spirit work was in Santa Rosa in Railroad Square. I had an office, my first office, back in I think, I don't know, it was 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. And when I was practicing and getting my private practice together, I was just listening to my clients that were coming in the door and asking what they needed, where they were at, what circumstances, situations that they were in. So we're working with a very variety of subject matters, loss, grief, health, confusion. And when I was listening to a number of clients, they would say, "Oh, I'm feeling my health again, and I'm starting to live my vitality." Is that what you mean, Vicchi? And I'd be sitting there like you and I are right now, Jen, shaking my head like, that's right.
Yeah.
That's when the tagline for my work, because there were several people that understood through feeling and feel healing was bringing their energy back and redirecting their thinking, their perspective towards health again. So that was another moment of realizing and recognizing where's our thinking processes? Where are we driving our energy towards or away health, towards or away health, towards health, away from health? And that was another moment for me to discover, oh, it's all here. It's always all here. We just have to maybe sit back and pause, and we'll get into the 5-point practice, which is really about how we can do it in a daily way, how we can embody our own spirit and do our own work through the 5-point practice. And this is just one thing that I'd like to go over later in the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I think that it's just important that people understand what we're talking about in general. I think that when we talk about woo-woo stuff, people refer to, like I even say sometimes, hippy-dippy woo-woo, right?
Hey.
And, I mean, I'm still a big fan. That's part of my being and my essence, right, is hippy-dippy woo-woo stuff. And sometimes it's like, well, I guess I shouldn't refer to it like that because it's almost discounting it in a way. But at the same time, it's still part of the language that some people use, so I just adapt to that cultural component, right?
Yeah, well.
And so as we talk about as we're talking about practical woo-woo, I think that also, would you consider some of the, let's say, again, I don't like calling it alternative or complementary medicine, but that's still what it's called in the mainstream. Mm-hmm. Would you consider a lot of practices, alternative medicine practices, components of what you consider practical woo-woo when you explain it to people? Like, do you ever explain, or do you have a way of explaining alternative practices to people to help them understand how practical they really are, such as acupuncture or acupressure or craniosacrotherapy?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure if I'm understanding the question. Like applied?
Like helping people to understand how practical they really are to the body, how they would help heal the body.
Absolutely.
How Bodywork and embodied spirit work.
Well,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. And that's the challenge that we're at right now, is to really discover in a feeling way, in a body way, how practical this energetic medicine is, meaning through experiencing. That's where we're at with the healing matrix and the complementary practices that people are developing, like acupuncture. It has been around for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
And it's taken, I'm not actually really understand how many years ago that acupuncture is now just being understood as a amazing healing modality, and it's just about the energy in our body.
Yeah.
Touch therapy. Again, it's an unseen medicine. Mm-hmm. And we're discovering through experiencing it that it's an unseen, but it's very real. It's very subtle.
And thankfully, people are starting to actually see that, and I think people are also starting to do studies on it to start showing some of the mainstream that it's valid, right?
Right.
Like
there's so much science-based evidence now.
Which is important to prove, like we need to sometimes,
right,
to the mainstream. Like acupuncture just got approved on a lot of insurance companies, to cover it, which I think is a huge step forward in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, in my lifetime, chiropractic was not approved.
Right.
Now massage therapy is actually getting recognized.
Is it going to start being approved potentially?
Well, in some insurance companies, they do approve certain type of or a certain amount of hands-on work.
Got it.
They call massage therapy.
Got it.
So it's becoming practical. It's coming into people's fields that they're practicing this. They're using it as a complementary, which, when I think about that, I think about when you're having a meal and you want a complete palette of experience, that sometimes you get a complimentary something from the chef, that makes the whole more balanced. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're talking about when we come into health. And we're not just talking health as in, we're talking about beauty too. You know, we're talking about a field of wholeness. It's not just fixing something that you don't have. Let's just say the big ones. We don't have cancer, or we don't have diabetes, or we don't have depression. It's looking at it from a different perspective. It's not fixing it. It's about living wholly. And that includes everything. And it starts changing people.
So I'm here with Vicchi Oleski, founder of SoCoHA, and she's about to present. Are we going to jump into it?
Yeah, I'm going to just do a little explanation.
Perfect. She's going to explain and then present to us a really important and special 5-point practice that she's created and offers people and offers her clients, because it's absolutely helpful in creating what she was explained as healing our health and living our vitality, and really changing limiting beliefs and freeing from emotional garbage, helping people feel really good in our body. There's so many benefits, and Vicchi's going to share that with us now.
Yeah, thanks, Jen.
Yeah.
This practice I've named it the Ha breath. Ha, ha. And Ha, SoCoHA, is part of why we named that. But Ha is the universal sound, a breath. So go anywhere, and if you feel, say Ha, it's actually universally known as the breath. Just like that. Is a sound word that is saying, I understand. And Ha is a sound word that represents breath.
Okay.
And that in and of itself is what we call sound healing. And that's part of my practice, embodied spirit work, is that we're using everyday colloquial words, Ha, sound, to actually use it as a medicine. That's bringing practical woo-woo to today.
Perfect.
And why sound healing is so important is that it actually, that vibration helps to create fluids to move in the body, and mostly the brain, the pineal gland. It actually massages, the fluids massage the brain, parts of the brain, different organs of the brain. So we're going to do this 5-point practice.
Okay.
And I've named it, again, the Ha breath. And it unifies the mind, body, spirit. And that connects the unconscious to the conscious and the superconscious.
I don't think I know what the superconscious is.
Superconscious I like to think of as like the awe, the source of creation.
Got it.
It's a daily practice that combined, it has 5 points because we call it the 5-point practice. I also slightly named it the polishing the diamond light. And you want to do this every day. It's a 15 to 25 minute practice. Each point is 3 to 5 minutes long. So you just do it 3 to 5 minutes. Each point, 5 different parts of the day.
Oh, it's not all at once.
No.
Okay.
It's not all at once, because we want to lengthen our day. Is how long?
Yeah.
And throughout the day, we have, how many different things are we doing?
Yeah.
And being.
Yeah.
You know, some of us children, some of us work, we have all sorts of things that we're doing. You know, what are we going to do after this?
Yeah.
So I've spread it out 5 different parts of the day. And if you can imagine a star with a heart in the center, and what's driving is the Ha, the breath. That's what we take, and that's what unifies our day. It's an unconscious thing that we do, again, all day long. And we're making it conscious 5 times during the day.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off, and Jen, do you want me to explain it first or do the meditation? I think maybe explain it first.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to explain it first, that's fine.
So, point one, number one of the Ha breath is in the very morning, just as we're waking up, upon waking. So that's point one. And the idea is that we want to quickly review our sleep dream time. Quickly. We just want to review it, realize that we're waking up and what's in our space. What have we just been thinking about and feeling through our sleep space? Sometimes we recall a lot of dreams. Just go through it pretty quickly in the morning. We want to make some mental notes. And we want to consciously begin our day in gratitude.
Yeah. And
becoming aware of our breath. And the point number 1 and 5 actually has a breathing pattern to it. And we want to begin the breath from the lower part of the belly.
Okay.
We want to feel our breath and notice the energy that the breath generates. So every time you take a breath, it's actually generating vital energy. And we're making conscious of that in the morning. We allow the breath, chi, to open up the chest and the lower part of the body. That's on point 1 and point 5. It's the same breath. All right, so we're doing that when we're waking up. Point 2 and 4 are similar. And point 2 is another 3 to 5 minute practice. And you want to do that maybe about 3 or 4 hours after waking up. And point 2 is while standing, you want to begin to breathe or become conscious of breathing. And while standing, you want to move, slightly jump, and hum. You just want to do that. 3 to 5 minutes. You want to jiggle your body and you want to let go. And you'll know what let go means once you start moving and jumping and jiggling and humming. You'll just feel it. Part of the practice in the breath is on number 2 and number 4 is when you start jumping just slightly on your toes, you want to inhale on the lift and exhale on the down. So you're pulling in energy, breath, and you're exhaling. So you're literally doing a body massage with your breath. And you're doing this. And again, that makes it practical.
Yeah.
Number 3 is, again, another 2 or 3, 4 hours after that. Sometime in the middle part of the day that you're really starting to get drowsy and you're going, oh my God, I've got another whatever to do.
Yeah.
You want to sit comfortably for another 3 to 5 minutes with soft eyes. You really don't want to fall asleep. You want to consciously realize you're breathing. And you want to just experience your experience. So soft eyes, number 3, you want to experience your experience. 3 to 5 minutes. And I call it, it's like the super pause. You're just sitting out, timing out, just like you would, your child or anything. And you just go, I'm just taking a time out, and you're just going to sit.
Yeah.
Do a breathing, and you just experience what you're experiencing. And all these things that we're going over right now, they lower stress. So it's really great for people who are suffering or have chronic fatigue, diabetes, any type of illness. And if you're super stressed at work, or you've got, some people ruin them. They go over things over their minds constantly.
Yeah. This
practice times that out, and you want to take a time out. That's really stressful. We think that that's how we're supposed to live. We're not. We're supposed to just be playful.
Right.
And not that we can't do business, but when we get in our heads too much, it's actually not, it's counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
So number 3 goes to number 4. And say number 4 is happening around, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's the same as number 2. 3 to 5 minutes you want to, while standing, 3 to 5 minutes you want to move, you want to jump, and you want to hum. You want to jiggle. You just, just like sometimes we experience, when we're talking to someone, and like actually, Jen, we're doing it now, I'm standing and I'm looking over at you, and we need a little like tossing the energy here. So I'm moving.
Yeah.
And we're talking. So that's a little bit of sound vibration. And that's the same thing as number 2. So then we come to number 5. And Jen, I'm going to actually give you this.
Okay.
So the things that you're writing down, you're going to actually get a copy of this.
Cool.
Number 5 is the PM. And I feel like number 5 is it's the jewel of all this. So that's the night while falling asleep. I love this one. And while falling asleep, another 3 to 5 minute practice. Of course, we're not setting a timer. If you want to, you can. But it's not about rigidity. It's just about adding a little structure to your day and to you falling asleep and literally putting yourself to sleep like you would someone that you really care about, someone that you're taking care of, which is you.
Yeah.
This is after, if you're caretaking someone or you're a parent, now it's your time, that you're actually putting yourself asleep. And what this is about is going through the day, and you're going to have to practice going quickly because our minds want to like hang on to things. Yeah. So quickly going through your day of things that you felt like you didn't meet, you fell a little short of, like patience, or you honked at someone, or you didn't follow through, or you weren't living your word, or you realize that you were berating yourself mentally or something, and you just want to forgive yourself. Just go right into it and go into forgiveness. There's tons of wonderful people in the county that are doing forgiveness work.
It's funny you say that because my next radio show is Lorraine Siegel.
I love her.
Forgiveness expert.
I was glad you brought her up.
Yeah, that'll be on the 21st.
Yeah, that's a must. Yeah. Must see. So, point 5, while you're putting yourself to sleep, you go into that breath that we initially talked about. From the belly, you're laying in bed. You either have your partner there, or you're solo, or you have your pets or whatever. Yeah. And you just take a few minutes with yourself, and you want to fall asleep in this state of breath. You go through the things you just didn't meet, and you forgive. You don't want to take that into your sleep. You want to go into sleep reminding yourself of what you did do good, what you're about, what you feel good about yourself. And that's where you want to fall asleep. You want to be kind of, in the NLP term, you want to start programming in a conscious way. Okay, so that's bringing practical. And the woo-woo is you're bringing it into your sleep. All right, so this is a practical 5-point practice. It takes time out 15 to 25 minutes a day, 3 to 5 minutes per point. This lowers stress. I've been doing this for many years myself, and I pass it on to my clients, and they do it. It lowers stress. It helps them to actually live more on purpose because they're reminding themselves 5 times a day what they're about. Yeah. That they're using conscious breath to also recharge, realign, repurpose themselves.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
So is there one of these or a few that you want to do actively on the air right now?
Yeah. I think this breath pattern that number 1 and number 5, I think that one's pretty powerful.
Okay.
It's ancient. came across this when I was living in Philadelphia. It's was passed down from the grandmother lineage of shamanism. It's about vitality. It's about living our truth and on purpose and using breath.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
How should people be sitting if they're at home?
Yeah, I think sitting and feeling supported, so not standing.
Okay.
So sitting or lying, and the big part of this practice right now that we're going to discover and actually experience is feeling support. So you don't want to be leaning. You want to be sitting in a relaxed state, whatever that means to you. We don't have to get into being gurus or meditators. We already are.
Right.
So we want to just be seated, or lying.
Okay.
Really helps our body just to feel held. Just take a moment here and get quiet on the radio, on the broadcast. Yeah, there you go. And we want to begin just feeling where our breath starts when we take an in-breath. Jen, don't fall asleep here.
Instantly start yawning.
Yeah, it's relaxing. It's relaxing, and it's going to be revitalizing in about 2 minutes here.
Perfect.
So we're beginning the breath down at the belly. Lower belly. You take a nice big in-breath. Fill up and then exhale. And while we're doing that, we're just recalling maybe things that we're holding on to, whatever that means to you. We're working something out in our relationship or family or business, or we've got something that we're just pondering. We're just kind of bringing that to our minds, and exhale completely. And take another inhale from the breath, and we're wanting to expand the chest this time. Taking that breath from the belly up to the chest and exhaling. Yeah. Take a nice yawn. Maybe even starting to want to stretch a little bit, open up the body. Now this next inhale from the belly, we also want to feel it enlivening our thighs. So this breath starts from the belly, and we actually, and I learned this in yoga class, we actually move in 2 directions every time we breathe. So we deepen and we also expand. And that's part of the breath. So you want to exhale completely and inhale. And at this point, you want to start to feel your breath going down through your feet and also up through your chest and out your arms. And right now, I want you to revisit the situation that you initially thought about when we began this breath. And just feel into what your experience and what your perspective is with it now. And exhale completely. And then bring to mind while you're doing this breath what you're going to be doing next after the radio program. And then on the exhale, you want to just let go of that and come back into where you're seated or where you're laying and your breath. and how supported you feel. Hopefully more aligned, more relaxed. And then also more prepared. So this is the first and fifth point of the 5-point practice. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wonder how everyone's feeling out there. Hopefully, like I said, you were safe about it. Didn't do it while you were driving. And that only did take a few minutes.
Yeah. It's real simple. It
seems like it's important, I think, for us to start our days with intention too, right? And it seems like such an easy way to do that, to be able to really start your day off intentionally, Well, yeah. What I didn't put in here is a practice that I use during my private practice is something very similar. But what we do is we rub our hands together. We bring our hands, clap, and then we rub our hands together like something's coming to us, like, ooh, yeah, you know how that is? Mm-hmm. This activates the brain. Using our hands, using our body, again, practical woo-woo 101. Practical woo-woo.
And we bring to mind what we're thinking about and what we want to do, who we want to be in the day, in our lives, in our families, in our community. And then we stop and pause and prayer pose. We just bring that right to our heart chakra, right into our bodies. Again, practical, tangible bodies, physical. We're here, we're manifestations of the woo-woo,
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. I'm trying to stay centered as this fly still.
You're doing a great job.
Time flies when we're having fun. It's already 9:30.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if there's anything that you wanted to touch base on that you didn't have an opportunity to touch base on? Or are you feeling...
Just, I'd love to just go over briefly the whole SoCoHA.
Okay. Well, then
Sonoma
why don't we do kind of my little close in a way too? If there were, this is going to catch you off guard. I didn't warn you about this.
Oh no.
If there was something, since you are basically on the world stage right now, we do broadcast online, which means we broadcast all over the world. If there was something that you could shout out to everyone in the whole world that you wanted everyone to hear, what would that be?
That's the, $1 million question. Oh, it's really about what it would be. And I'm serious about this. It makes me feel very moved to say it may feel complicated, whatever situation people are in, and it can be simplified, broken down into small, easy, accessible steps of everyday, practical, changing up routines to make your life different if you need it to be different or want it to be different. And that there is a lot of help. If you're living here in West County, California, even in Philadelphia, anywhere. I think the part that I want to just impart is that we have to think differently so that help is within reach. If you're listening to this program, it's definitely within reach. And if you're listening to the program, thanks, Jen, and you know of someone who is in pain and suffering, I think the suffering part is really what zaps our energy. We do go through pain. We're human. Pain is what it is, but the suffering, I think, is the part that is just really a drain.
Yeah.
When we go through situations, loss, grief, illness.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jen. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So tell us real quick. Well, first of all, actually, this is Jen Julius with inspiration and information. For more information about me and to find recordings of previous shows, you can go to jenjulius.com. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/JenJuliusCoaching. Today I had Vicchi Oleski, founder of SoCoHA, here, and SoCoHA.com is also the website, correct? It'll go live in 3 days.
3 days we'll have SoCoHA.com.
Perfect.
Live, and then also you can get me through the web also at VicchiOleski.com, and that's spelled VicchiOleski.
Perfect.
Vicchi Oleski. Thank you, Jen, very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's hear a little bit more about SoCoHA while we have some time.
Oh, sure.
Because it's a good resource in West County, right? And it's, like you said, it's kind of the gateway to West County, too.
Yeah.
And it's right next to Coffee Cats, who's one of our underwriters.
Excellent.
And also Coffee Cats offers a lot of really neat events, and now Lydia's is there too, right? Gosh, that complex is getting off the hook.
Lydia's, Peace and Medicine, SoCoHA.
Wow.
The Glass Place, Inn, Radiant Health.
That's right.
And then in our building, we have Susie Babcock, just amazing practitioners. Ron, who's this. Yeah.
So what else did you want to mention about SoCoHA and kind of what it offers?
We're about life solutions. When we really kind of figured out what SoCoHA was about and looking at all the practitioners, it's about life solutions. We're going to be developing programs that will include 3 to 5 different practices that people can sign up.
Wow.
3 to 4 month programs, 6 month programs, or yearly programs. The one that I also want to just talk about briefly is a playful being playful, is a theater group that meets on Monday. And Jacqueline Grace Howard spearheaded that group. She started out about 2 years ago with us, has done playback theater, and her work is amazing too. Part of my work is loving my practitioners, loving all of us who come together, and even if you're not at SoCoHA, I'm talking about it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about, is the different and the varieties of creative modalities that we're all developing. Yes,
we are. That's for sure. And do you personally offer workshops?
I have monthly programs and 4-month programs and yearly programs.
And is more information about those on your website, or how can they contact you?
There is a page on my website. It's called Emerging Woman, and it's a 12-month program. It includes bodywork, coaching, yoga, and energy psychology.
And is it done in a group format or individually, or both?
Both.
Perfect.
Group monthly meetings, and then one-on-ones, and then also phone coaching.
Excellent.
So you get a little bit of group work, individual work, and then coaching work.
Very good. I was looking at it right now. Cool.
Feel your health and live your vitality.
That's right. VicchiOleski.com and SoCoHA.com. And again, thank you for listening to Inspiration and Information with Jen Julius. For more information about me, you can go to jenjulius.com or like me on Facebook at facebook.com/JenJuliusCoaching.